All right, fastest 15 minutes on social media, fastest 15 minutes on the internet. My name is Judson Powell. All right, the third. It's four. No, seriously, we had four of them. Son is a Judson too. Anyway, want to talk about fear. You know, and I think this is like, I want to talk about fear, and I want to talk about Stephen A. Smith. But first, I'm going to talk about fear. And a lot of people, they do stuff and they say, "Oh, this is the great cure. This is the great." Some people are tout that with marijuana and what is it, CBD oil and all the other things that are associated with smoking marijuana and stuff like that. So we got people like that. Then we got the whole I'm a vegan, and I don't eat meat, or I don't want to eat something that was alive before, and all that kind of stuff. So everybody, and some people have fears of different kinds of food and all that kind of stuff. But I'm here to tell you that you should not let a fear of anything like that stop you from doing what you want to do or being you, because it really, to a lot of people, it stops what they're doing, and it keeps them from really being who they are. And because when you concentrate on your vibration, when your vibration is towards something, then you vibrate differently in other areas. So and since I've been ill, it's funny, since I had this little illness or whatever, it's been like my solar plexus chakra and my throat chakra have been like blocked, and so that's part of my healing. My healing process is, well, how do I get that back, and how do I get that to where it was? And in the famous words of my grandmother, I don't know if she coined this phrase or not, but she used to always say, "Nobody gets out of here alive." We're all going to die or something. So don't be afraid of anything. And, that's one of the things she used to say. And I used to wonder, or, there's time enough to rest when you're dead, that kind of stuff. Like, you got something to do, then go ahead and do it. It was like an ode to sleep deprivation. But when I tell you what, though, when I went to college and I was doing homework and pledging fraternity and all that kind of stuff, it made me understand sleep deprivation. Man, I can't even talk. That's what I told you, my throat chakra. But anyway, being deprived of sleep, that's what was going on, because you had so much stuff to do. And then later on, when I was doing my little internship and practicing law and all this kind of stuff, and I was trying to learn from some of and they always used to urge me to do things that that before that particular point in my life I would have never thought of doing. So so everything comes full circle. But don't let fear, and that's the other thing. Everybody tries to incite fear into you, and that's how the other half kind of live. And so and like our former president Donald Trump, I hate to bring him up, but he is like a fear monger and a hate monger. So he uses the fear. And he incites things in people and gets them fearful. So the whole border wall thing, the border wall, okay, it's like, it's not really the stuff that he was saying was happening. It wasn't really happening. So it was hilarious to me. And because I live in Arizona, so we're one of the states that touches the Mexican border. And I also, through my work and stuff like that, I've been in California, been into the bottom part of California near the Baja Peninsula and all of that, and then Tijuana and all of that stuff in Mexico. And it's like, look, there are not people trying to storm the border. And in fact, a lot of Mexicans especially go back to Mexico. I know y'all don't want to hear that, or y'all, but they get fed up, or they do something that they deem as being illegal or is illegal or whatever. And the first thing they do is, what do? They go back to Mexico. And what do? They provide for their families in Mexico. Like, they come up here, they work, and they send their money home. You know, don't care about nothing that's going on in the United States. They really don't. So, but if I'm a fear monger, then what do? I was like, oh no, there are people, we need armed protection at the border. There are people storming the border and blah, 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 blah. And then the next thing we know, we got little kids in cages, you know, in concentration camps, you know, which we still, you know, and that's the other thing. And then, so we can't champion the causes of human rights or civil rights when we're doing the same thing that we're accusing other people of doing. And it is literally, that's what it is. We're doing some horrific things, just like, you know, and I don't stand with Israel. I think it's horrible what they're doing to the Palestinians. It's like, stop, you know, what are you going to get and what are you going to prove? Because you're not going to eradicate, you know, it's genocide. You're not going to eradicate a whole race of people. Yeah, I don't care, you know, I don't care what your motives are or anything like that, but what you're doing is evil and diabolical and maniacal. It's evil. It really is. And then to sit up there and say, oh, we need to do this, or and we're pumping money into that, and you know, it's just a bad thing. Now, I want to say something. So anyway, so don't let fear be your guide. You know, I want this to be like motivation to say, if you have a fear of anything, just meet it head on and go ahead. All right, and do what you got to do, especially if you're talking about business or employing people and all that kind of stuff. The next thing, Stephen A. Smith, and I didn't look at the whole situation, you know, from the standpoint, and you know, everything's been going on with him and Kwame Brown, and he's been calling them, you know, the go along, get along gang, and you know, and he's, you know, he's accused basically Stephen A. Smith of using him to like promote his career, and also the fact that he believes that the people at the network are literally, you know, paying him to degrade black athletes. And because once he does it, then it seems like it's normal. So then everybody else they have at ESPN can pile on, right? And so yesterday, he was doing a segment where he was talking about black players do not support black coaches, and and I see that, and then he came across it. He said, well, why don't you support these black coaches? That there are a lot of black coaches that should get jobs before white coaches. And you know, that may or may not be true, because there are a lot of black coaches in the NBA, and you know, and he brought up the Rooney Rule in the NFL. Well, there's a few black coaches in the NFL, so that's not really. I mean, I don't see it being a huge issue. But the one thing that I did see was the fact that, you know, he was very passionate about it. Number one, so he was passionate about it. Number two, it kind of gave him his black card back. And and it's funny because I told my wife, I was like, you know, I think he might have a whole thing about being black. He might have it back, you know. And she was like, don't, you know, you can't trust it because it might have all been an act. So she was like, you know, wait and see before you say anything or pass a judgment like that. So I looked at the thing, and it could have been staged. It could have been set up, you know, for everything and whatever. But here's the thing: coaching is not our big problem. So getting jobs as coach, there've been all kinds of, you know, there've been black coaches on every level. Maybe not as many, But then again, you got to understand, where does that come from? It comes from ownership. And there is one NBA team that is owned, by a black man, Michael Jordan. And then there is no NFL teams that are owned by blacks. So when you have a situation like that, the first thing you're going to do is I speak about nepotism and all that kind of stuff, but it's a form of brotherhood, because they're going to hire somebody like them before they hire somebody like me. I mean, it's just a fact, because I'm going to be able to be easier in their social circle. It's going to be easy for me to relay, to relay my interest in the job and all that kind of stuff. And when it comes down to black coaches, usually 9 times out of 10, unless they were a coach on the staff, then it's gonna, it's like, and they hire from within, then there's no relationship. And so we know that all those type of things are what? They're about relationship. But if I don't have the opportunity to form a relationship, then how am I going to have the opportunity to get the job when it becomes available? Because somebody else had the relationship. And I've seen, and then the other thing is, 9 times out of 10, a black coach will not get a lengthy opportunity, meaning that if he doesn't win immediately, then 9 times out of 10 he'll be gone. So his tenure, and most black coaches' tenure as coaches, is very, very short. And the reason why it's short is because because once again, there's no ability to form a relationship or to have some type of common ground, and that's what you have to have when you're being interviewed or selected to head up somebody's major, because you're talking about millions of dollars. You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, and for some teams, billions of dollars. You're talking about that's how much putting a winning product on the field can elevate a team. And if you go, they have lists of like the most expensive franchises in the world, and a lot of them are National Football League teams, soccer, or, European and football or soccer has tremendous amounts of revenue, and then you have those teams like the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Yankees, who are valued, so just because of the name, and how many the Yankees have won, like 28, 29, 30, maybe 30. I forget the exact number. I think it might be 28. That's what's coming to my mind. But yeah, so that's the thing. So, just based on the history alone, even though the Cowboys haven't won, I gotta take a shot at the Cowboys no matter what. Even though the Cowboys haven't won anything since the '90s, So anyway, but I don't apologize to my Cowboy fans. But anyway, so we'll let it go at that. And and the other thing finally is, so where do we go from there? Because without any ownership, this is something that probably won't change soon. And even if you have rules in place, if you don't follow the rules, or some rich people believe that rules are made to be broken. So what's it going to be? Who's it going to be? How's it going to be? What's the deal? So you see where I'm coming from. Anyway, trying to be on time. Fastest 15 minutes is up. And y'all keep watching. We're gonna keep watching Stephen A. to make sure that he is really trying to get his black card back. It's gonna be a lot of cookouts, So you want to make sure that you have the cookouts. Anyway, like I said, Fast 15 Minutes is up. My name is Judson Powell. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, but most of all, hit the love button.